Welcome back to That Dad Guy. It is January 14th, 2025, and today I want to talk about what I did on the weekend. I went to the Moncton stamp show. That's kind of my monthly get-together, go find a few bargains, find a few deals, and I did just that this time. I went with a list, though, this time. In the past, I've gone in with a certain budget, say $50 or $100, and what can I get for that? Sometimes I go in and say, you know what, next month I'm going to be doing a stamp of the month theme and I want to look for particular stamps that I can use for giveaway. So I've done that in the past. I've also gone in and looked and say, what is an area that I haven't talked about before that might be something new, and bought stamps according to that. Well, this time I went in with a list. I have checked a few of the countries that I will be talking about through my father's stamp collection and thought, well, you know what, I could probably bolster his collection a little bit if I find some stamps there. I also went in with the idea of some things that are coming up in the next couple months. So I realized that, well, next month I'll have another opportunity to go to the stamp show and probably get some things there for other things. So this time I thought, okay, I'm going to stick to this list, see what I can get for that list. So I'm going to show you some of the things that I acquired, and some of them weren't on the list. So with all the good intentions I had of going in and saying, just going to buy the list, sometimes I saw some things and thought, I like that, I'm going to get that too, just because it's still a good deal. So one of the things that I did was I took one of the binders I bought last month at the stamp show that I've been setting aside. I've bought some VAR Pages, and my intention is to go through and start putting some of the stamps by country in those VAR Pages. The ones I'm going to show you in the book today are just some of the stamps that I bought at the stamp show, and I have separated them by country, so we're going to look at those. The other thing I found when I was there was pages of stamps for certain countries. So what I did was, this is British Guyana. If you will recall, last week we touched on that from my father's stamp collection. I showed you the stamps that he did have. He didn't have a lot. So when I went to the stamp show and I found a partial collection of it, I bought the whole thing. And I only had to pay per stamp. So in this case, and I will show you which ones I got, but there's 3 stamps on the page, so it cost me like 45 cents. And because I buy in bulk, I go in, they give me a rough number, then they give me about a 10% discount on top of that. So it worked out pretty well. I can tell you that all the stamps that I bought this weekend came to $90, so it wasn't too bad. One of the bad things about it, though, was that I went in, I sat down at a table, the usual table I usually go to. I found a bunch of things I wanted, and it came to $90. And so I figured, well, I won't put any bids on the auction. I won't go to any of the other vendors because I'd already spent $90, and that was enough for that particular visit. So I managed to get in and out of the stamp fair in about 40 to 45 minutes. There were a lot of great things there. I did go look at the auction table, and there was a lot of really nice stuff on there, but I wasn't willing to spend any more. And with the price of stamps going up 25% as of yesterday, I kind of have to budget a little bit. You know, can't spend a bunch of money on stuff that isn't making any money for me. But today, we're going to show you a little bit of what I bought. Like I said, I brought British Guyana. We're going to talk about that. We'll show you what I got from that. But I did buy a couple other countries as well, so you have to stay tuned to some other videos coming up to see what else I got. Let's start with what I put in these VAR Pages. These were not on my list of things to get, but I saw these French stamps. One, the really long one. I had to have that in my collection. Then the artwork on these ones. The Republic of France really puts out some nice stamps. Monet. This one here has a little bit of a nibble out of the bottom of it, so has no real value, but I like the look of it. I thought this one was kind of interesting too, from a post-crosser's perspective, or a letter, a mailman, a stamp collector. The cartoon was a nice stamp. And then there were these 3 ones from Brazil, a little bit older, so I should grab those ones too. These ones from Belgium, Congo. So all the same style, but just a different coloring. I like those, so I grabbed those ones. These ones from Nigeria. So you're getting a little bit of reflection from the VAR Pages. Some earlier stamps from Nigeria. And that 10 cents a piece. I should probably get those. And then we've got some mini sheets from Germany. And once again, not on my list, but I thought, well, I might as well grab those ones too while I'm here. Some interesting stamps. How about these ones here from Nicaragua? Why are they signed like that? Someone out there can tell me. I didn't know, but because they were there, I thought I should grab those ones. There's an overprint official on there as well. One of the people that watches this channel will know probably what that signature is all about. St. Kitts Nevis. I'm sure we'll be doing more videos about this country, this colony. You can see why there's a progression in the stamps. But for right now, I figured I might as well grab those ones. Panama. It's a nice early Panama stamp there. You've been watching the channel, know I like the earlier stuff. A little bit better than the current stuff. Water sports. And then Trinidad and Tobago. Switch over to Queen Elizabeth II's reign. These early stamps. My father at one point in time got a chance to go to Trinidad and Tobago. There was a mail strike on, and so with his company, he went down there to get up the mail for the company. And then there were some Jamaican stamps. You can see they're Scott numbered 18, 20, and 22, so some early Scott numbers. They weren't 30 cents each. I only had to pay 10 cents a piece for those. Mauritius. Just got some really nice stamps there. I had no real desire or indication why I was going to get that, but when I saw the penny red, or kind of a look-like of the penny red in there, I thought, oh, that's an interesting stamp. Maybe we should talk about that a bit more in the future. Or Cayman Islands and Dominica. Coronation. This is an omnibus that came out. And speaking of that, there's here also these ones. I've talked about this set in the past before, that all the Commonwealth countries put out very similar looking stamps. There's some Cayman Island ones. Now last week I did a video all about Guyana, and gave a little bit of the history, and then showed what stamps were in my father's collection. If you're to collect that too, you're going to need to have 2 Scott catalogs, or 2 catalogs from your country, whether it's a Stanley Gibbons, because there's Guyana, which started in 1966 when it got its independence. And then if you want earlier than that, if you want British Guyana, when their first stamps came out, you're going to need to go a little earlier. So there is a really early. And if you want the very first stamp, now this is an old catalog. It's saying it's worth $250,000. It's one of the rarest stamps out there. It is a very valuable stamp if you're ever to get that very first British Guyana stamp. But any other British Guyana stamps you want to figure out, you're going to need to have one in this catalog. So you're going to need a G book, and you're also going to need ones that have the B's in it. So these are 2009 Scott catalogs that I got at a stamp show way back when. And the reason I need them today is for this. I bought a collection of British Guyanese stamps. And so you can see the person that created these sheets did a real good job with it. So you've got the Scott number, and then you've got the number that's associated to the image. Because sometimes they reuse the same image over and over again. And so if you look into the Scott catalog, it is Scott number 107. That's the number you're looking for. And then that's the image reference. So A13. So a pretty early stamp. A sailing ship. So you can see it's 108. It's still the A13 image because the image is exactly the same. It's just a different color, and of course it's a different denomination, the 1 cent versus the 2 cent. And they also had the 6 cent in that one there, which is kind of a reddish brown. So the image has changed slightly here. We're now into an A30 image. Scott numbers 131 and 131A. They're both 1 cent. One's a lighter green. So this person has done all the work, has divided it up. You know, I'd hate to take it out of these pages, so I may just add them to the binder with my father's regular collection. That might be the way to go. You can see the 2 that's been marked down here was the person that was counting the stamps on the sheets. So there was 2 stamps I was to pay for on that because I just took the whole collection. This is a leftover. There's no stamp in it. Someone's taken the stamp out of it. So there's just a little amount there. You can see the style here. Once again, the stamps are the same in the style, but the coloring and the denomination is different. And that carries on here as well. It's a good way to show what stamps you're missing. So 196, 197, all using the same image, the A35, all the way down here, 198, 199, 200, all the same. And then when we get into the next page, you can see that 206 A37 is going to be a different image. Really nice print. Bow fishing, that'd be quite hard. Easy way to tell what stamps you're missing, but this guy did a really good job creating his pages. Downside of it is he's using hinges, so which isn't great on the stamp. So you saw a couple pages back there, someone used a mount for it. Those would be the better options to do. I like that. Shows you where it is in South America. My father didn't have a real big collection of British Guyana before. He certainly has a bigger one now. So I was very pleased to be able to add all these stamps to the collection. Two pages stuck together there, sorry. Red Cross. Celebrating the anniversary. So here, 1963, we're getting right up to independence. We're only a couple years away. This one's coming off its hinge. 1965. Queen had a trip to the Caribbean in 65, doing the tour. And then the final stamp that I have we got this one is a war tax stamp. You can see a Scott number there on the bottom with the image number of A35. And you might say, all of that for $90, that wasn't worth it. Well, like I said before, if you weren't paying attention or you've forgotten, I did get more things. I've just set them aside. I don't want to show you now and then repeat it and show you again in another video. So you'll just have to wait and see as those videos come out what other ones that I've added. I might say, you know what? I told you about a stamp show. This is what I got at the stamp show. So I feel pretty good about it with the way I get. Anytime I can find some new stuff for my father's collection and fill it out, it feels like I'm doing something with him. He might not be actively doing stamps anymore. I know he still saves them because whenever I go over and see him and he's gotten some letter mail, he puts them in an envelope and says, I've got some more stamps for you. So they may be some common stamps, but then I can soak them off the pages and send them off to somebody else so they can enjoy them. So it's all a part of the collection process. I was with my father yesterday. We went for a dentist appointment for him. Went to the bank as well too. Spent a couple good hours with him. It's nice when we can have time just to get out. And I think he really enjoys getting out of the nursing home a little bit too. Gives my mother a break and she can have some time on her own. And he can have a break and he can go see the city a little bit. So that was kind of nice to do. Well, that's going to be it for today. Looking ahead, I will be going back into my father's stamp collection and showing you another video probably on Thursday, the next country in the South American collection that he has in his alphabetical order. And there will be some stamps that I got at the stamp show to show you in that video as well. So stay tuned for that. That's it for me for right now. You guys have a magical week. Like, follow? You say like, subscribe, share, and tell all your friends.
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?
Bye. Welcome back to That Dad Guy. It's January 14th, 2025. It's -3 degrees outside. It is not too bad today. Except for I've got this cough. I don't normally have a cough, but I do right now.